Hello everybody, Alzheimer here with another video, and today we're going to be doing a reaction video to an interview that Todd Howard did for PC Gamer, where he mentions that Elder Scrolls 6 may be his last. Kind of just really getting into what that means, and all of that. So let's just get right on into the video. Well, before that, I want to say thank you for clicking on the video, of course. I really do appreciate it, but let's get into it. So he goes, if you asked me yesterday, I have told you that Todd Howard was hewn from a stone, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows Todd Howard is, like, he is Bethesda, basically, right? You know, they do Fallout. For those who don't know, Bethesda does Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and Starfield. They also uh, put out a bunch of games, but those games are typically owned by their parent company. Now they have a new owner, but typically like games that are put out by ZeniMax Online Studios, by ID Games, from Arcane Studios, from all these different studios are put out by Bethesda Gaming Studios, but not made by them, if that makes any sense. The only game that Bethesda actually makes are Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and Starfield. Now, I am excited about Starfield. It released on September 6th, apparently. Um, but in this little interview, they did a little snippet. I said that prompted him to speculate about the Elder Scrolls 6, which would presumably get the same lengthy uh, post-launch support, leading Howard to remark that I probably shouldn't say this, but if I do the math, I'm not getting any younger. How long do people play Elder Scrolls for? That may be the last one I do. I don't know. Howard said this before that he expected Elder Scrolls 6 to have just as long shelf life as Skyrim, which got its latest re-release, as little as 2 years ago. I will say, um, that the length between games is a little. It's a little. I wouldn't say ridiculous, but I guess that's kind of the word I'm going for. Um, with Bethesda, um, because it says over here like the latest re-release, as little as 2 years ago for Skyrim, a decade after its basic edition first hit shelves. A decade. Think about that. And what's even scarier, everybody, is what I just heard today. And I forgot to link it here, and I'm not gonna search it, but um, there was an article that was written that talked about the testimony I guess Xbox is going through. I guess they're going through a trial right now, and the Xbox head of direction or creative, whatever, they were asked about Elder Scrolls 6 for whatever reason, even though the trial literally had nothing to do with Elder Scrolls or Bethesda. It was about Activision and them buying Activision. And the guy said that he couldn't really comment on Elder Scrolls 6 because it was so far out. He goes, if I had to guess, it's about, 5 years away. 4 or 5 years away. And I'm like, because they're not going to really start working on Elder Scrolls until after Starfield hits shelves. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, we all know that's not true. That the way that Bethesda has worked in the past is they kind of have a small team that works on a game. Just like they did when Skyrim came out, they had a small team that was working on the next Fallout. And then when they hit that deadline, they made the switch. And then the whole team was brought on. So that's kind of the way it works. So, I mean, but for Xbox to be under the impression, higher ups at Xbox, under the impression that they're not even, they have no idea when the Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out, It's probably 4 years away from right now, which means 2027. You realize how long that is between games? 2011 to 2027. No wonder he's retiring. He's only 50 something years old. And the next game, the next Elder Scrolls game, he's gonna be in his 70s. This is just too much time. It even says that. It says at minimum after it's released, and that the Elder Scrolls 6 will take another several years to make after that, and that puts Todd Howard somewhere in his 60s by the time it comes out. Now, I'm guessing that after Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, maybe he contemplates retiring, and then he gives everything over to somebody else, but the time, like, I will agree here. He has mixed reputation in my neck of the woods. The part where everyone still won't shut up about more, and on the other hand, it's undeniable that Bethesda has turned into an industry juggernaut on his watch, a company whose every word and movement has fans on tenterhooks, and whose every release makes more money than the GP most countries. Now, we'll say that. I mean, just it's a Bethesda game like Starfield. Like, I'm on the fence with trying it because I'm not really into space games. I'm not, but it looks amazing. But my thing is how much am I gonna really get done in a game? Games might be too big. But is Bethesda setting themselves up here? If Elder Scrolls 6 is still 4 years away, I don't know how true that is, by the way. I was anticipating it to Starfield hits, and then the small team that's working on Elder Scrolls 6 right now, because we saw a trailer 4 years ago. Think about that, though, too. We saw a trailer for this 4 or 5 years ago. That's usually the length of time it takes them to get a game going, right? Like, it's just been too long. They should have made the Elder Scrolls Blades, which was available on mobile and then went to Switch. They should have made that on other consoles, even though it was a smaller game, because I think that would have that would have like held people over. A lot of people forget it was a thing, So there's not a huge distance between Skyrim and Elder Scrolls 6 in terms of just Elder Scrolls content alone. They had Legends comes out, which was a card game. They had the Elder Scrolls Blades come out on mobile. You could also get it on Switch. So there's still there was content that came out after Skyrim, just not popular, not well known. But to put so much distance in between the releases to say that he's going to retire after Elder Scrolls 6, being in his 60s, I think he's in his mid 50s now. I don't know. They might be making a mistake because think about that. If you were 30, if you were 15, we'll say, when Skyrim came out, right? Just do the math here. I pulled out my calculator. Hold on one second. So 2011, 2023 minus 2011. That's 12 years. So if you were 15 years old when Skyrim came out, you'd be 27 now. And that's right now. So let's go with you 15, 2011, you'd be so if it comes out in 2027, you'd be 31. You go from being a kid, maybe you're in high school, right? When Skyrim comes out to now, I mean, depending on the timing here of when let's say you had kids when you were young, you were 20, your kids could be close to your age when you played Skyrim. So the distance between games, somebody gained a family, and their kid is the same age they were when they played the last Elder Scrolls game. That's too much time. People don't have that good of memories. Come on, man. Bethesda's grown into a juggernaut, but has it really been more at the hands of other gaming studios? Because what does Bethesda put out? Yeah, they put out Fallout 76. It was a disaster. They kind of redeemed themselves a little bit, but their name is tied to The Elder Scrolls Online, which a lot of people still think Bethesda makes. It's like, no, like that's made by a separate studio, just under the same umbrella. So this worries me that The Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be his last, because that means that there's going to be some distance. Let's see if this is a link to the IGN studio. He's 52 now. He's 52. And Fallout will be the first, not Fallout, Starfield will be the first new property that they've made in 25 years. So, I mean, that's more than some people have been around. And apparently, it says here that they have 4 studios in Rockville, Montreal, Austin, and Dallas. And here's what I say to that. Okay, I have no idea what size these are. I have no idea the size of the games that they want to make going forward in terms of Elder Scrolls 6. But I think here's what you do, okay? 2 of these, we'll just highlight these. Again, I have no idea how these could be small studios. Let's say they're big, though, or at least medium to big. Starfield's run by these guys. Elder Scrolls is run by these guys. And Fallout's run by these guys. That way we're not waiting 8, 10, 15 years and people are gaining families. Can you imagine the distance from Elder Scrolls 5 to Elder Scrolls 7? Someone's going to go from being a high schooler to a grandpa. Come on. The teaser was made in 2018. It's just too long a distance. And Fallout 5 is after Elder Scrolls 6. For you Fallout 5 fans, when is that going to come out? Because according to this other interview made by Xbox, they don't start working, at least heavily, they don't start working heavily on the next project until Starfield hits, which makes sense. So Starfield hits, everyone starts working on it. Now, usually in the past, it would be like a year or two after. So like 2023, so like 2024, 2020, like late 2024, 2025 is about probably what we're looking at. But he's saying even later. This is true though. The long gap between series has not hurt some series, like Grand Theft Auto became more popular. But I think it's maybe I'm just being selfish because I love the Elder Scrolls series, so I'd love to see Bethesda's version. I've seen ZeniMax Online's version of some areas that of Varden Fell and Somerset. I want to see Bethesda's version of these places. Let's see what else they say here. This is based on Bethesda's track record for development time scales. The Elder Scrolls 6 may end up skipping the current generation of consoles entirely. It's certain that whenever Bethesda Game Studios releases after Elder Scrolls 6, whether it be Fallout 5 or something else, it will launch on Microsoft's next generation console. And after that, assuming Elder Scrolls 7 is a game Bethesda Game Studios intends to make, if it's a game they intend to make, maybe looking at 20 years from now. Elder Scrolls 7 could be 20 years from now. That's just ridiculous. But the only way it's not ridiculous is if they do something that not a lot of games do. And that's to keep, this is more of an MMO thing. They keep adding content. Even if it's smaller content, they keep adding content. You imagine Elder Scrolls 6 where they just keep on adding content to it, like smaller DLCs, maybe, re-releasing with some mods that they like, and like compensating the mod community, which would be huge. I think that would be something that Bethesda could look into, so that Elder Scrolls 6 Starfield has a long shelf life because, well, they keep adding to it. I don't know. What do you guys think? You excited about Elder Scrolls 6? I'm not. I really don't care about it anymore, to be honest. We'll have to wait. The teaser was great, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, it's apparently going to be 4 years from now. I'm anticipating it to be 2025, but I could be wrong. Who knows? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.